and welcome to That's What Speaks. Today is Tuesday, August 4th. This is 152, I think. Hi, I'm Amy Beth, also known as The Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and The Fat SQRRL on Instagram. I'm going to apologize right now. I've already restarted this recording. We have a pup. Her name is Olive, if you're new, and she and Annie are tussling. Not in like a bad way, just like dogs. It's not bad. That's what they do, quite frankly. They're sleeping or they're tussling. So I apologize. You may hear some dog shenanigans. Okay. But this week's episode will have knitting. It'll have shenanigans. It'll have spinning. It'll have knitting. It will have not shameless self-promotion, but just shameless wool piggery that I actually recorded last time. So it's all my SSK loot. So that will be happening at the end. If you're wondering why suddenly things look a little bit different, it's because it's recorded from the past. So let's get into it. Shenanigans. So there's lots of shenanigans. Nothing of like an interesting like narrative happeningsness. Just like lots of tidbitty shenanigans. Tidbitty shenanigans. That sounds kind of profane, but whatever. We're just gonna roll with it. Okay, I'm 13. So shenanigans. What have we done? There's been so much, but so little at the same time. Like lots of little tiny things. Let's see. We have back to school. Right. Tifa goes back to IPS, which is our school district, the Indianapolis Public Schools, is on it's a year-round calendar, is what they call it. I apologize. So they start back August 3rd. My husband and I are, of course, older than our child. That's the math for the day. We, of course, then went to school where, we always went back like the week before Labor Day. He always went back after Labor Day. And then we went through and like got off like the first week of June. Well, now with year round, she goes back the first week of August. It goes through the middle of June, which kind of is stinky, but at the same time, there are benefits. She does get 2 weeks, 3 times a year for breaks. So they have a fall, a winter, and a spring break. They're 2 weeks long. Quite frankly, it's August. I don't do a lot in August because it's hot, and I am not a woman of the desert at all, or the jungle, or like that here with the humidity. So I gotta be honest with you, we probably wouldn't be doing that much exciting stuff anyway. I had that moment this week, not this week because National Space School last week, where I was like, oh my gosh, we've not done anything good all summer long, which is totally not real. Like I've gone camping and like she's gone to Emil's house a lot and like we're humans, we don't have parties. I am so sorry. I don't know why I'm suddenly incapable of not yawning. But anyways, I just had this like, ah! So we like went to the zoo real quick and she had swimming lessons, which was already planned. But anyway, I just was like, oh, where did it happen to the summer? It's not a really long summer, so it does kind of run away from you, especially when you try to squeak in some good visits to family and stuff like that. So all of a sudden it's like, but then I realized, I was like, gosh, we got a puppy. So now I feel totally fine. Not really, I still feel guilty. But like I feel much better. I'm like, it was the summer of the puppy. It's true, puppies take a lot of work and time, okay? Good. But so we went to the zoo. I don't think anything interesting happened to the zoo. It was just a lovely, peaceful zoo day. So there were no shenanigans there. We did, however, go apple picking. I know some of you were like, what? Early varieties. We are in central Indiana, which is growing zone 5. Early varieties of our apples, which are not storage apples. So these are varieties that you need to consume or refrigerate immediately. Are starting to be available. I really like Akani apples. It's Akane if I'm saying that incorrectly. But I really like those apples quite a lot. They're a symphony of flavor. I'm a fan of a tart apple. Occasionally I can have a sweet apple, but I really prefer a tart one. And the Akanes to me have a lot of different flavor levels. They're very wine-like in that way to me. I may just be making it up, whatever, shush. So I always get really excited when those are available. One of my first varieties, along with Paula Reds, which I also really enjoy, Ginger Golds, early gold. I think early golds. Lodies are in July. Our orchard. We go to the Anderson Orchard, which is outside of Mooresville, Indiana. They don't do Lodies, but some places do. I don't. Lodies are just like you can fry them. I mean, when I say fry, I mean like cook on the stove, and to make like sauce or something. Or just what my family calls fried apples. Does your family do that? Oh my gosh. Fried apples and biscuits. Anyway. Oh, I do enjoy food. Surprise. So I enjoy those apples. And I enjoy them for apple butter. I enjoy them for like crisps. And I enjoy them to eat out of hand. There's going to be lots of apples and cheese meals for me, which I'm excited about, through the next month or so, because the next varieties usually take about a month to come through for the like Jonathans and Cortlands. They're usually more like September, maybe even late September. And then you have more storage apples, which kind of Cortlands, but like Black Twigs and your Granny Smiths and your Pink Ladies are usually later fall. And those are longer storing apples because I don't know the science. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was about to make up something with confidence, but really I don't know. I'm a liar who lies. So yeah, that's all been doing good. My garden is doing okay. It's kind of like, it looks really pretty. My garden looks gorgeous and healthy. It's just not producing very much. I think it's a combination of the fact that we've had a lot of rain here earlier in the season. Now it seems to have tapered off now. Again, making this up. No knowledge. But my theory is that it's the rainy season. There was not a lot of sun, and then my garden is very shaded anyway. So I always have a little trouble with production levels just because of that. So those are words. I said them. What else? We got to visit folks. Gen Con was our city hosted Gen Con last weekend. So I got to have dinner with some of the folks who were visiting. Yay! For Gen Con. I don't actually go to Gen Con. I love board games, and Gen Con has a lot of tabletop games. But I just can't handle that many people. There's a lot of folks. Like, a lot. Not that I can't handle that many people, but I don't think I would enjoy the experience. Now, people are like, but didn't you say you were going to go to Rhinebeck? That is also a lot of people. There's two differences kind of to me. The biggest being that it's outside. I usually feel much less crowd anxiety when I am outside versus inside. Olive gets wound up like a puppy does, and she gets running so fast that she just runs into stuff. And like I have a moment of where I'm like, and then a moment where I'm like, oh my God, you're so silly. She just ran into a chair. Anyway, so it's outside, so that helps me with my like, it's easy in my head. Now again, I've never been to Gen Con, and I know that it's a huge venue, and so like I'm sure you can find a room off of it or an area where you can go and kind of breathe for a minute. But it feels more overwhelming to me. Oh, so sorry. I know you're being super crazy, Olive. What's up? So that helps. And then also, usually at Rhinebeck, I know a few people, and so that helps me too. Like I kind of feel like I have some, like that's grounding in a way to me to have a few people there that I know. So that's two things. I said there were two things. Okay. Also, it's fall. Hi, fall. And it's yarn. Do you want to get down? Do you need to get down? Anyway. So that's the reason that it feels different to me. Also, board games, I really love board games, but I gotta be honest with you, I've not really played board games with multiple people. Like, we've played Cards Against Humanity and stuff, but to me that's not really, like, that's not a thought-based board game at all. It's just silliness. I mean, you can play it, I guess, but we don't play it with any seriousness. So I'll be honest, I am very intimidated by playing games around or in view of other people, which I know is totally ridiculous. I know. Totally silly pants. But I have like a weird thing. Like, oh, they're judging me. They're judging me. They're judging how incapable I am of playing this board game and how that must mean that I am a derelict. What? Really? Come on. Whatever. That's what my brain thinks, though. So that's the reason Gen Con kind of freaks me out. But it was really fun to get to have dinner with folks and chat. And then also it was just fun to watch like Instagram feeds and stuff like that to see what's going on. It seems like a lot of the stuff that's posted on Instagram is just like the costuming part of it. And in fact, where were we? Oh, we were at the Orchard the next day. Well, not the next day, but we were at the Orchard on the weekend that Gen Con was happening. The Orchard is outside of town. It's, like 20-ish minutes. And there were people really dissing the Gen Con. Not the Orchard owners. There were other customers. And I shouldn't say that they were, well, no, they were dissing them. They were not being mean, but they were being very normal, where they were like, oh, I don't know, there are people with swords. It was crazy, Yes, it is a little fringy. There, most of what I see on Instagram are people in costumes and stuff like that. But there's also like this great, not that there's anything wrong with that. This is not my flavor that I'm interested in. But it's fun to get to see like lots of new games that are coming out and Kickstarters that people are getting funded. And just general new product that's coming out for the year. So I've been having a bit of a board game binge where I'm just like watching. I'm just going to admit it. Where I'm watching like episodes of, what's that one called? Game Night. That's put out by the Board Game Geek people. Board Game Geek is a big discussion and posting forum. I don't do any of the forum parts, but I like to look at the rankings of board games. It's a great place to look if you're interested in a game, but you're kind of like not sure. Not only will it have like the rankings so you can get an idea like, oh, that ranks really bad. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game. It just may not be that it's like a gamer game. Meaning like it's not. Well, there's lots of different ways people rank things, obviously. But it's a good place to look so you can see like what the game actually looks like. Because a lot of times if you're looking online for a game, there's not pictures of components and stuff. Obviously, if you have a local store, that's the way to go. But you can see pictures of all the components. You can see pictures of like how the game is laid out, which is sometimes helpful because if you don't have a lot of space to play a game, sometimes some of these games get really space hoggy, and we don't play ones like that. But, they can go on for like hours. So that's a good place to get ideas of like, okay, how long does this game really take? It says that it's good for 2 to 6 players. Is it really any good for 2 players? Things like that. And then there's also a section that's called videos where you can look at all the different videos. And some of them are just straight up reviews, like the Dice Tower reviews and stuff like that. They give you an idea of what the game looks like, what the play might look like, stuff like that, like an overview. And then there are actual like full, there might be like rules demos where they actually like kind of basically teach you how to play the game. And then there's also things that will actually like play through. And that can be either very constructed and like learning based, or it can be a more casual, like the podcast, well, I don't know if it was a podcast, but a YouTube series called Game Night. And they actually do go through one person teaches the other people how to play the game, and they all play through a round or 2, depending on the length of the game. There's a lot. I didn't plan to talk about that at all. Sorry. There's a lot of talking about that. But it's been something I've been really interested in this week. So I've been watching a lot of that kind of stuff and being like, oh, we need that game. Oh, we don't need that game. So that's kind of fun. Did I talk about apple picking? Back to school. We started back to school. We went to the Boone County Fair, which is actually Joanna Spring of Knitspin Farm. Wonderful podcast. Awesome shop. Oh, it's her county's fair. Most of the fairs in Indiana are, which I guess is actually true in Ohio too, which I didn't know. But when I was a kid, we went to the Brown County Fair in Ohio, and it's called the Little State Fair. I feel like their website might even be like thelittlestatefair.com or .org or something. And it's a really big county fair. It's an awesome county fair. It's east of Cincinnati, so if you live in Cincinnati, I highly recommend the Brown County Fair. It is really good. I'm just saying. But anyway, it was always at the end of September. So to me, that's like what fair time is. Like, it's like the harvest is done and it's brought in, and you get to show off your giant tomatoes, and you get to show off they have a freak vegetables, at least they always did when I was a kid, which is like when the carrots grow together to make legs and you put the baby doll top on them, or like the pepper that looks like a face and you put eyeballs on it. Fun stuff, right? Fun. So anyway, so that's why I really like fairs at that time of year. Fair at this time of year, just like, oh, it's too hot. I know, right? I'm such a baby. But anyway, but there was like one of the last county fairs in our area that was going to happen, because our state fair is about to happen. Actually, at the end of this week. The state fair is awesome, but it's also awesomely expensive and very, it's a lot of human beings to conquer. The whole thing, basically. So, but it was very enjoyable. I got to see lots of rabbits. Oh my Lord, the rabbits. I don't even like rabbits. I had a rabbit when I feel like I'm talking so much this episode. So what happens when I only podcast every other week, which I think is kind of good, don't you? I save up things to say, maybe. You're like, no, this is nothing. You're just talking to hear your head rattle. So I don't even like rabbits. I had a rabbit as a pet for a very brief time when I was a kid. I'm not going to ask what happened to that rabbit. But his name was Flopsy, and it was from a pet store. So I'm sure, I know that when you raise rabbits and you raise them and, you rear them, and I was a kid, I didn't know how to train a rabbit, not train, but like socialize a rabbit. Anyway, it was a mean rabbit. It bit, it chewed cords. It was not a good experience. So I've never been a fan of rabbits. I've sometimes been like, maybe we should have rabbits for homesteading purposes, for meat purposes, because I don't like rabbits, and I feel like I could probably eat one without being too sad. I know that sounds terrible, right? That was too much information. I apologize. Oh. But the rabbits were so awesome, and they were so cute and so fluffy. And some of them, I kept telling my husband, I was like, that is the rabbitiest rabbit ever. And he's like, they're all rabbits. I was like, but that's like an English rabbit that you see on a tapestry. There were some of those, which were interesting because they were in the fryer category. So like I said, little meat rabbits, but they looked exactly like rabbits that you would see on a like medieval tapestry. It was awesome. And then there were lots of other, there's just like a whole barn of flippin' cute rabbits that just made my face want to blow up. And then I found this rabbit, which, this rabbit's so cute. It's called, I think this one is a mini Rex. Can you see it? You can in no way see how awesome this rabbit is. I'm lame. Cutest rabbit ever. And I found out the reason that it looks different than the other rabbits, it's like you want to do this with its fur. Like you just want to put your fingers in it and go. It was a, oh my God. See, I'm just looking at it like, oh my God, I need to squish it. And I forgot. I feel like it was like the 19th century, but it may have been the 18th century. That there was in the countryside of France, there was this like rabbit, what do we call this? Mutation, a genetic mutation, which caused the fur on the rabbits to, instead of like growing like in a direction, so it's like, it like is at an angle. So this is the rabbit's body, and the hair is like at an angle like this, and it all lays down. Their hair grew like perpendicular to their skin. I read this, but I may be remembering it wrong. Please don't be offended. I'm not a rabbit expert at all, literally. But instead of their hair growing like this, it grew perpendicular to the skin, and that's why they look so like, you want to put your So I believe that one's a mini Rex, but oh my gosh, I'm just looking at it like, oh. Plus there was that rabbit at the Greensburg at the fiber event that I wanted to love. Universe, we're not getting a rabbit. Just settle down, universe. Stop showing me all the cute rabbits. So anyway, so there's also there. Oh, so we got to see all the 4-H. Unfortunately, the 4-H, well, not unfortunately, because they were still cool. But I really, of course, love to see all the home arts exhibits, which are like your needlecrafts and your cooking and your all the stuff that I love. Gardening is in there usually. Flowers, awesome. I love it. Prizenias and stuff like that. Oh, come here! Why it's so awesome. Anyway, but so when we were there, the 4-H exhibits were all out. So it was all the 4-H exhibits all the time, and it was very cool. You know, basically it was just a lot of fun stuff. So yay fairs, yay! Oh, I love a fair. I want to live in the country so bad. When we were in the sheep and goat barn, my husband had a moment where he looked at me and he was like, you know, and he basically said that he's ready to live in the country. Now, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Because unless money falls out of the sky. But I was like, yes! I'm holding you to it. You better remember what you said. I was like, I need to record. I didn't get a recording of it, but... Just saying, husband. Get the goats to mow the lawn and stuff. Okay. So those are all the shenanigans. Oh, brief shop update. Not shop update, because I'm not having a shop update for a while. The next update will be probably the middle of September. Maybe even late September. I don't know. The library bags were wildly popular. Thank you so much to everybody who ordered one. I'm still operating, I believe, in the time frame that I gave you. I'm doing my best to make that happen. If you sent me an email about specifics that you wanted, I am trying to compile a spreadsheet to get all that information in. So I apologize if I have not responded to you. I'm trying not to do that all at once because it's very overwhelming to me. Just the way I have a little trouble with that kind of stuff. So that's happening. I'm going to try to, instead of sending them all out when they're done, I am going to try to send out like X number every X number of days, just to help keep myself on track and so that the shipping is not so overwhelming at the end. So yeah, so those will kind of go out. They will go out in the order that they were received, unless there's a special request that maybe I couldn't meet on that specific group of bags that were going out. So that might, you know, but they should still all fall into that closer to 6 weeks unless you're earlier in the ordering process for the first batch. And then I changed the date on the second batch to 6 to 8 weeks because it was a lot more than I anticipated. Thank you so much. So I kind of debated the fact that I had a number in mind, and I thought, well, it could go up to twice to that number and I would still be okay. And then it went to like ultimately 3.5 times that number. When it was at 2 times the number, I debated with whether or not to just close down the orders. But I had said that I would leave them open for a specific amount of time, so I did not want to go back on that. And so that's why the latter orders you noticed I changed to 6 to 8 weeks instead of 4 to 6 weeks. I know that feels like a really long time. I do not like that. I don't like to have your money that long before I get you your product. But unfortunately, the nature of this getting custom printed fabrics in and then getting large quantities of those sewn is that it's a longer time frame. So, okay. That said, thank you so much. It was so successful. Thank you. Thank you. I told my husband, I was like, it's like we're having a mini Kickstarter. So anyway, so with that in mind, there will not be an update until all of those are out the door. So I have been sewing while I was waiting for fabrics to come in from the printer. But I will hold those. And in fact, I found some bags I had held back from SSK, which I forgot I had even done. So there will be an update after all the library card bags are out that will have the sloths and some other stuff in them. So, but that'll happen probably mid to late September in all likelihood. So, because I've got lots of stuff to keep me busy until then. Yay! Thanks. I'm so sorry. I try to put the shop stuff at the beginning, but I did want to try to remember to say that. Okay, so let's talk about spinning and knitting. 25 minutes in. Okay, so I finished my Luna Moth. This is a superwash nylon blend from Moon Rover Fiber. No, Moon Rover. She's not, I don't think she's a suffix on her name. She's a Moon Rover. And this is the Luna Moth colorway. This is a double batch. So this is 8 ounces. And I got 900 and something yards. Approximately 900 yards. And how I did it was I spun, it's a long gradient. If you're not see the last few episodes. I don't want to say if it's a gradient really, but it's a long color block. Okay. So 1 4-ounce braid might have, I can't remember exactly, but like say there's 6 colors in it. Well, there's 6 segments. There's no repeating in that braid. So, I don't want to say it's a gradient because it's not like it goes from tone to tone. It is just like a Noro, like a really long color change. So the first 4 ounces I spun as it was. And then the second 4 ounces I kind of debated, but what I ultimately decided to do was split it into, I think I ultimately did 6 bumps. So split it into 6 long skinny strips and then just spun those. Like if the front of the braid was A and the back of the braid was B, I spun them A, B, A, B, A, B, like in order. So part of it will have, when it's knit up, it'll sort of look like this block will all be light green with something else plied with it. This will all be the blue with something else plied with it. So it shouldn't be as obvious as just as like if I had just chain plied it or something. So it'll be more subtle, but there should still be some blocking of color. Does that make sense? Again, with me talking a lot this week. But anyway, it was not my funnest. It was not my funnest. It was not the best to spin. Not because of anything that Moon River did, but just I don't like superwash nylon. So superwash merino nylon fiber. Just not a fan. However, it was super fun to ply, which I normally don't say about things. I'm not a huge fan of plying. It's a means to an end, essentially. But this one was very fun to ply because it was like, oh, now that's colors happening. What are those two going to come? What are those two going to look like together? So that was really fun. And I fell in love with there's an olive green in here. And when it's plied with a teal, I fell in love with an olive green and teal together. It was inspiring, just lots of color ideas like, oh, I want to make that together and that together. So that was very fun. So there's that. And then I had a little bit of the green. Well, not a little bit. I have a good amount of just green that I can put in there as, use it as a bind off or what have you. That I just did into it was left in one bobbin, so I just did into a center pull ball and then plied it as a 2-ply. This is all 2-ply, and I really love it. I really am pleased with it. I hope. I might try to do something for Rhinebeck. I don't know, but I just really love it. So anyway, so there's that. I am currently spinning some little batlings from Inklenook Fibers. And if you recall, a while ago I spun some orangey ones. These are called Delft Tile. So there you go, look. These are called Delft Tile. They're merino, bamboo, faux cashmere, poleware, Shetland, llama, silk, noil silk, tencel, Angelina, and Firestar. So I say this is a Delft Tile colorway. So this is what they look like. And they're beautiful, just little stripped bats. They are gorgeous. I don't want to say too many good things because I would like to one day buy these things again, but these are gorgeous. I mean, the amount of sparkle is so fun. There is a lot of shininess to this and a lot of sparkle in this. It's so fun to spin, but at the same time, it's very smoothly and beautifully blended, so you don't have big hunks of sparkle. Never a great once when you get a hunk of something that didn't, but not I shouldn't say a hunk. You just get a higher concentration of like a silk or something. But that's fun instead of it being like, you know, I've spun some bats where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to do this. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's too artsy. It's too artsy for me. These are gorgeous. And the prep is beautiful. They're so fun to spin. And I wanted to get them spun up because I'd like to have these two. I have this orangey color and then like this blue color and then like an orangey, rusty orange. And I wanted to make a 2-color shawl with them. It's going to be beautiful. So there's that. Like I said, I've been having lots of like color fantasies. This combined with the fabric I've been sewing with is and I apologize, and now I can't remember who the designer is, but the line is called Honeymoon. It's the one if you've seen them with the sloths and stuff. But there's such an unusual color palette. It's very unusual, and I really love it. So I've been trying to play with different. Anyway, it's been a lot of color play this week, these 2 weeks. I don't know if I could do it successfully because I really want to make a color affection, but I struggle with like, I don't want it to be too safe because I really love the ones that are basically, the color affection is the Stephen West shawl and it's 4 different skeins. And the ones I really love the most are the highest. I like the natural ones. Those are very enjoyable. But the other ones that I seem to be really drawn to have a lot of contrast in them. But I struggle with high contrast feeling too clowny. For example, I knit the Pop Spots shawl, which I think I'm ultimately not going to finish. I don't do that very often, but I saw a beautiful one on Instagram. Thank you, ZD. A beautiful one on Instagram, and it was gorgeous. And I had this in my head that I want to do mine in purple and green. And I still love those colors, but it feels too cartoony to me. It feels too, and not that I would see it on somebody else and think that at all, but for me, it feels, I don't know. I don't care for it very much. So I ultimately might, and it's also an issue of it's not a great size for me. It's a little smaller than is really reasonable for me to wear, and I don't really know who anybody else who would necessarily be jazzed about it. So anyway, so it's not being ripped out, but it is definitely in timeout. So anyway, so I struggle with that, like having enough contrast that it gives you that fun product, but then I'm like, oh, does that feel too cartoony? I don't know. So anyway, that was another tangent. Anyway, so that's what I'm spinning. Knitting. I don't have any finished objects. However, I do have progress on things. I'm knitting on my Wild Goose Shawlette, which was a pattern that was gifted me by the beautiful Paula Emmons Feasley, who was the pattern writer. It is in my bag from Knit Spin Farm, and it is in fact yarn that I spun from a Knit Spin Farm bat. It's my apple bag. Here. Time for all the apples again. So, here it is so far, and it's on small needles, so I apologize. The body of the shawl is a crescent. The body of the shawl is garter stitch, and then you just go on to this very rhythmic and easy to accomplish lace section, which is the bottom body of the shawl. So garter stitch to the top. This like very easy 4-stitch or something. Yes, 4-stitch repeat at the bottom, which your increases are worked in. It's very pleasant. Of course it is. Paula wrote it. Very pleasant. So I'm getting closer to that. Also, the pattern is written with weights percentages down the side. So, for example, you know, she tells you on hers where she was 50% through. So it gives you a good idea about how to gauge, you know, where you're at, how much you're going to have left. And what size to expect. I think I had a little bit over the suggested yardage required, so mine will be just probably a tiny bit bigger. But it's a very easy one to modify to make larger or smaller, because that last repeat is a very short and easily modified row repeat as well. So there's that one. So that's a good one if you don't, at first, It's written for a highly variegated yarn, which is it looks beautiful in. She originally knit it with Lady Min Fiber Arts, a colorway called Wild Goose. But it looks great in variegated yarns, but usually if things look good in variegated yarns, they'll also look good in hand spun, which is essentially variegated. And again, it doesn't, the pattern of the lace is not like, papa, because that's a busier yarn. However, the process of knitting it is very pleasant. And, sure, maybe it would, yes, it would look different. So maybe it wouldn't look different if you just did garter stitch. It would, of course, look different if you just did garter stitch the whole way. But the lace is enjoyable. It makes the process go faster because, again, 1 in 4 rows, or 1 in however many rows, I'm going to do something more interesting. And that kind of helps to push you through. So if it was a wildly complicated pattern, of course it would not be worth it. But the pattern is very easy, cathartic, and rhythmic to move through. So there's that. Other thing that I have made progress on, kind of not as much as I'd hoped, but I'm almost done, is my Sako. Thank you very much for somebody informed who told me that it, in fact, it's not Seiko, as I originally said, but Sako rhymes with taco. I will just confess I'm terrible at all pronunciations, and even when people tell me how to pronounce things, I will forget it by the next time I interact with you this way. It is not to be dismissive of your knowledge or like lacking in appreciation. My mind just is a little sievy. Doesn't hold on suffer well. So this I'm knitting it with, it is the Sako by, I didn't write down who, here we go. The Sako Stripes by Pam Allen. I'm knitting mine with Quince & Company Sparrow, which I believe is the yarn suggested for the pattern. My main color is Fen, and I apologize, I think my secondary color is Fjord, if I'm not mistaken. It's actually not Fjord, because I remember it being not Fjord, but it's something watery sounding. Right? I think so, maybe. Anyway, the original pattern is written as a tank. However, I decided to make mine as a T. And I do mean strictly a T. So it does not have a set-in sleeve or anything like that. It has armhole, right? Instead of like decreasing like you're doing a tank, I just straight up cast on 18 stitches, which in my gauge is about 3 inches. Maybe a little bit less, but whatever. I cast on 18 stitches because you divide for front and back of the armhole. Cast on my 18 stitches, worked until I needed to decrease from the neck. Now again, the pattern is you just gotta wing it. I mean, you don't have to wing it. You can look up in one of Ann Budd's sweater books. You can look up like when to start casting off for binding off for your neck opening, or you could just be me and just be like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, about a third of the stitches bind off. Okay, that's good. So I just wung it. It does kind of look wung it. That's not really sorry. The reason I was inspired to do this is that there's another pattern called the Lena Tee by Carrie Bostic Hogue. Is it Hogue? I always say Hodge, but I feel like somebody said it was Hogue. Carrie Bostic. H. And it's a similar. Now she doesn't cast on for the armhole. She just splits for the armhole and then knits this. But I wanted just a little bit more than a plain cap sleeve, so that's why I cast on the 18 to make it more of a T shape. I did not do my neck opening as that pattern because that pattern is a little bit higher up and I don't like that feeling. So mine, the back is somewhat similar. I did do a little bit of extra short row in the back just to help bring it up a little bit. But the front, my armhole is about 10 inches deep. So I knit to about 4.5 to 5 inches and then cast off for the neck. And I put it on and I think I'm going to like it. I don't know, we'll see. This rolls up here quite a bit, but when I put it on, I don't think it does. The sleeve opening, I don't think it did. But if it does, what I will do is just pick up and then maybe work a few rows opposite and then cast off again. Meaning like, so the purl side is out, so it'll roll. You know what I mean? No, the other way. I won't knit it opposite. I will knit it as it's supposed to be, right? Because then that'll roll. Anyway, I'll have it not roll in, but roll out. That's right. If it doesn't lay flat. But I think when I put it on, it kind of did lay flat. We'll see. Linen's weird. I'd never trust a wool to lay flat, but a linen might. So yeah, I think I'm going to like it. I don't know, but I think I like it. It's a tiny, it's like 1/2 inch to 1 inch shorter than I would like it to be. However, I think the linen will stretch quite a bit as it's worn. So I think it'll end up working out a-okay after it's been washed and blocked. So yay, there's that. So hopefully I'll have that done next time. I am enjoying, should I tell you about that? I guess I should. Another thing that I did is normally, I would work, like I would just Kitchener the shoulder seam, because you're knitting the back and the front and then you bring them together. Normally I would Kitchener that. Oh, that's, I want to say that too. However, I did a 3 needle bind off. Normally I prefer to Kitchener, as I just said. However, this yarn, the Sparrow, the linen, is so slippery that when I tried to Kitchener it, it was making me very frustrated. So I just really got about 3 stitches in and I was like, yeah, it's not worth it. So I did just a 3 needle bind off. So it is much more obvious. It looks like there's actually a shoulder seam, but I'm okay with that. I actually kind of like the way it looks. So there was some discussion last time. I apologize if I was flip. The pattern is written in pieces. It is written in a front and a back, with the sides seamed. I think I said something like, I don't know why you would do that. There are reasons that you would knit a sweater flat and then seam it. I don't mean that there's no reason that you would do it. I hate to knit flat. Like, I do not enjoy purling. I do it, but I don't like it. So if there's a way to get around knitting flat, I will do it. Basically, if there's a way around getting around purling, I will do it. So I did not mean that universally there's no reason to knit a sweater in pieces. There are quite a few good reasons. Amy Herzog does a lot of sweater knit. Well, all of her patterns are written for flat knitting and seaming. There's lots of good reasons to do it that way. Seaming gives the garment a little bit more structure sometimes. It allows greater fit adaptability. So for example, if you knit the back of your sweater and then you realize after you knit it that your gauge changed and it's 1 inch narrower than you wanted it to be, then you can make the front smaller. You can make your side gusset, essentially, like your side depth narrower in the front to accommodate, or wider in the front to accommodate for that, and give yourself more room. You can add little gussets essentially into places if you find that the armhole is funky and it needs a little bit more width. So it gives you a lot more wiggle room to do them in pieces. There's some discussion that linen sometimes biases naturally depending on the yarn. I don't find that that's the case with the quince. It might in a smaller it would be less obvious, right? I don't feel like it biases, but if there's a concern, like if you're doing a single ply yarn, for example, that is sometimes a concern that you would want to knit it flat, seam it to decrease the bias. I think those are mainly the reasons, right? But the reason I don't like is because, like as I said, I do not like to purl. And then ultimately on a piece like this, I don't like to seam an open gauge like this. As you can see, this is very transparent. Maybe you can't see, but yeah, you can. See, there I am right behind it. So when you seam or even weave it in, it can be very visible. So that's one of the reasons I would not want to seam, and which is one of the reasons I hesitated to do a 3 needle bind off for the shoulder. But ultimately I decided that was okay, because it looks like a seam. And I'm sure that's what that would look like if you seamed the sides. It would just look like there's a seam, but it's just another thing to have to mess with, and I like not messing with things. Lazy knitter. So yes, so I did not mean to discount the positive aspects of seaming. I just choose not to whenever possible. It's a personal preference kind of thing. good to know why patterns are written that way, but I choose ultimately not to mind them. Just what weighs out in my head. Okay, so then I talked very briefly about the Lena tea. I have cast it on, although I feel like it's probably going to go into hibernation for the winter, which I kind of enjoy. I know I have another sweater that I had started, I think maybe in the spring or something like that, that I put into hibernation for the summer to work on summer stuff. And like, I really kind of enjoy knowing that there's a sweater, like the body is almost knit on it. Like, it's just waiting for me, so it'll be zippy zip zip. When I'm interested in knitting heavier weight wools again. So I might kind of do that. Like, I don't want to put something in hibernation because I don't like it, because I don't feel like that necessarily would change for me. But like, I still like the sweater. I just didn't get finished with it before I wanted to start knitting summer weight stuff. So I think I might, I don't know, I might make a rough plan to pack a sweater that's partially made away for the next season, because it's kind of fun. Just make sure you annotate some patterns, okay? Maybe make sure you write down your needle size somewhere. I say that from experience, that's all. So I apologize, I have to put some stitches on because I was negligent. Okay. And so, okay, so this is the Lena tea. It's by Carrie Bostic H. It is a cap sleeve top. So it does not have a sleeve of any sort. You knit it to the armhole and then just separate for the armholes and knit up without any shaping here. So it gives you a little cap sleeve. I will do the same thing in all likelihood that I did on the other, the Sacco stripes, is that I will actually cast on a little bit for the sleeve, because I cast on at 3 inches and really it just kind of gives me about this much sleeve, which I just kind of like, I don't know. It's like, so I am knitting this with Knit Picks. The pattern is written for sport. Do I not have a tag in here? Really? Really, Fail Face? Fail Face. I'm knitting this with Knit Picks in their crochet cotton. And I apologize, I don't know what colorway this is. I have other balls of it. It's dark gray. I feel like it's like steel or something. Lace weight, held double, usually means about a sport weight. So I'm holding this double. It is 100%, I think it's mercerized cotton. I kind of like it. This is what it looks like so far. It just has a garter stitch hem. It's a split hem, so you do the front garter stitch and then you do the back and garter stitch and then you join them. And then just a little bit so far of stockinette. I have no idea how this yarn is gonna wear, but so far I'm enjoying it quite a lot. And it's super affordable. Like, I feel like these balls are 1,700 yards. And I feel like they're less than $5 a piece. I feel like they're $3.50 technically, really, but I'm not sure. I might be a liar who lies. Well, I definitely am, but I might be lying about this specifically. So again, it's Knit Picks. It's their crochet cotton. And now I have to look because clearly I've not wasted enough time in this episode. Clearly I need to diddle online with things. So it's very affordable. Anyway, again, I don't know what it's really going to ultimately hold up like or do, but it would be kind of fun if it worked, right? So anyway, so there's that. And I should just not, I can't help it. I just gotta look. I just got to. So again, it's Curio. That's what it's called. It's $3.99 for a 100-gram ball, which is 721 yards. 17. Nonetheless, 721 yards. So that basically means you get 720 yards of sport weight for $8. It's cotton. So this is very affordable. And it looks nice because it's got the pearl. It's like a pearl cotton, so it's got some nice luster to it. I don't know how it'll wear or wash or anything. I have no idea. But we're going to try that out. But so that may go, I don't know, that may go into hibernation for the summer. I mean, for the winter. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. I'll just tell you about that next week. Because, really, come on, I've talked so much. Okay, so very briefly, the rest of the podcast will be my SSK loot. But I also wanted to show you, which I did not have in the... Oh, poo, I forgot the book again. Oh my gosh, Arnie and Carlos have a new slipper book coming. It may be on its way to my house right now. It's on August 25th, but it's shipping early. Anyway, I'll tell you about that next week probably. Or next time. Maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. So I'll put the SSK loot at the end of this video. But I forgot to... This was in a different package, so I did not show you. I got bats from Wool Pierogi. Wool Pierogi! And these are called her chalk drawings dumpling bats. So there are lots of good stuff. 3.6 ounces. I've never spun one of her bats before, so I'm excited to get to do so. She's Wool Pierogi. So excited. I think she made Stitches Midwest. I liar. Just look. So there's that, and it's beautiful. Everybody says lovely things about her bats. So I'm very excited. And these are the ones that, like, when you open them up, I hate to open them up because they're so cute in their little package. But, oh, so Stitches Midwest, I am not going. See, look at all that beautiful stuff. Yay! That's so pretty. Stitches Midwest, I am not going. But I will be hopefully at Rhinebeck. Well, I will be at Rhinebeck, period. Not hopefully. Just definitely. So anyway, have a lovely time at Stitches. And then the rest of the episode will be all my wool piggery. And I'll talk to you next time. Okay, so remember how last time I was like, I'm just going to tell you about the stuff I bought next time. Well, I'm actually recording it that time, but now it's next time because I was afraid I'd forget and I'd unpack stuff and it'd be crazy. But I also didn't want to have a 3-hour episode to upload because that takes like 12 hours and then my brain hurts. Okay, so it's still me from the past, but now it's the future. Are you with me? Yes. So that's why I look different than I did a minute ago. Okay. Now that we're all on the same page. So I showed you this last time. This is the, every year you get a bag when we go to SSK. This year's bag was designed by Beck, who is of Gusler Designs, who is Lemon Half. Are those all her names? I think so. And so it's a great, useful tote, which I always love. And I don't have this in any sort of order, so I'm just going to grab bag style it. Okay, so this is not an order of love or excitement. It's just how it's going to be out of the bag. This year's fiber was from Hello Yarn. And I was very restrained, quite frankly, and only bought 2 because I really was going to buy 4. But I did it at the wrong time and they were already gone. So, whew, saved from that one, right? So it's this beautiful, and spun up. Somebody had already spun it up. Fancy people. And it's gorgeous. Really, I was okay with 2. And then I saw that and I was like, because I don't really want a sweater out of this because I don't know if I can pull off a variegated sweater for myself. Not that I couldn't wear one because I could put it on my body. But I don't know if I would feel good in it. However, I saw her yarn and it was like fatter. I was like, oh my gosh, I just want like 8 ounces of it spun thin and 4 ounces of it spun fat. And anyway, it's gorgeous. Oh, and I think it's Falkland, right? See, and I love Falkland. Oh, I don't need more. I don't need more. I don't need any more. Also, while we're talking about that, can I find my... I thought I had gotten the fiber with the goodie bag, but I'm glad I didn't because then I got this. So this is the Hazel Knits in her Lively DK. In the Alexandrite colorway, and this is a superwash merino nylon DK. And you know what? I don't love purple. Love this purple though, because this is my gray purple that has a brownish grayish undertone. It's not that royal purple, which I don't like. You don't know what I mean. I don't like this kind of purple. Well, now it looks blue on there. Well, never mind. That's useless to you. That's useless information. But so there's that. So those were the goodie bag fibers and yarns. Oh, I also have one gift that's in the dishwasher, which you can't see. Thank you for my mug, ladies. And my t-shirt is in the wash. Maybe it's just in dirty clothes. I don't know. It's one of those places. So those are things that happened too. Another crafty girl. I was she did her board games. It was so hard not to get a board game colorway, but then I saw this and I was just like, I couldn't decide between two of the board game colorways. So I saw this and I was like, nope, that makes the tiebreaker. That's what I'm getting. So this is her, another strong sock, which is like an 80-20. And this is the Protectors colorway. Of course, this is Punky, who is Sarah, who's another crafty girl. It's not showing up nearly as beautiful there. It's just a gorgeous, washed, bluish, denim-ishy blue with some brownishy, grayishy. Oh, so pretty. It really is like Nerd Girl and your chambray papa. Or no, he's your daddy. And your chambray dad. It's like chambray and dirt. Oh my gosh, it's what it is. I may have a mild chambray obsession. Malia had chambray dresses, and I was like, and she wore them with a gold sweater. Genius. Now I'm like, I want everything to be chambray. Because that's what my papa's work shirts were always made out of. And when we would go fishing, chambray fishing shirts. I want all the chambray. I'm so crazy. Whatever. So this is the other thing that I knew that I wanted before I got there. This is a sock blank from Knitting in Color, and this is the Ultra Light at Night sock blank. And this is 438 yards of a superwash nylon stellina. And it looks, I mean, not only does it look fun in the blank, but it looks like space when it's knitted up. It looks like Star Trek Land 5000. The reason, I don't, oh, so then Malia asked me this too. Malia and I drove in a car together. Bless Malia's heart, because that 4-hour drive home was probably not pretty for her. I was so wackadoodle. Like, I'm normally wackadoodle. I was like wackadoodle with a lot of adrenaline and maybe a whole liter of Diet Coke. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm sure I said some really stupid stuff. I'm sure I acted like a total crazy pants for 4 hours. But you know what? Malia came back. She's done it before with me. Came back. She knew what she was getting into. So I'm not going to dwell on it, right? Like, don't dwell on it. Just let it go. Somebody wants to, otherwise, just come tell me something. But if not, we're just going to pretend like nothing ever happened. It's 4 hours on the way home. We're bad. Because I only sleep like 5 hours a night there. I'm like a kid. I go to bed at like midnight, like a crazy person. I start to like leave social situations at like 11:30. But then when I get back to my room, I'm too keyed up to instantly go to sleep. So I might have to eat some combos. I'm not going to lie. I might need some combos. Like have a carb down moment so I can go to sleep. But then when I'm there, I wake up at like 5:30 every morning. Like no matter how hard I try to go back to sleep, 5:30, I am awake and ready to go. And I just get up because there's no reason not to, because I'll just walk and get a coffee down at the Starbucks and whatnots. But what that means is I sleep like 5 or 5.5 hours a night for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for 4 nights, which is not that bad. Obviously, I'm very functional still at the end. I'm just really like slap happy and loopy. So like everything is really overly over. Like everything is intense by the time it's all over. Like I'm like, I'm sure that there's basically a lot of screaming in my car. Not like screaming in anger, just like I get so excited that I'm pretty sure it sounds like screaming. Oh my gosh, Malia, I'm so sorry. But anyway, so that's why I keep talking about Malia's. Well, A, she's awesome, but B, also because we just spent like 10 hours together. So Malia's asking me, I'm back to the story, if I will knit this straight from the blank, or if I will skein it off, wash it to get the kinkies out. When I knit another sock blank that was from Spun Right Round, and I remember that as I was knitting it, I told myself, and I think I maybe even told you, that if I ever knit anything from that again, I will skein it and wash it and so that's what I should do. Just because it makes it smoother when you're knitting and it's more aesthetic appearance. So then the question becomes like, well, why would you knit from a sock blank if you're just going to make it into a skein of yarn? And the answer, of course, is that it's a very different dyeing technique that produces a very different knitted material. And I apologize, I don't have my socks down here. But it becomes this very pixelated color transitions. And it's just wonderful and blippy, but there's still transitioning colors back and forth. Anyway, it's a really fun finished technique To me, it has nothing to do with this presentation. I don't care. I mean, some people love that. I don't care. I really just like how it looks. I love what the dye technique produces. And also you can just wear it when you're in the market and you're trying to remember not to steal from people, but you can't give them money yet. You just wear it so you don't forget. So here's the other sock blanket that I also knew I wanted to get before I went. And this is Gail's Art. And this is her Big O colorway, I think, which I have a pair of socks that somebody made for me in this colorway. And they're very favorite-y. Because again, I bought this colorway again, didn't even realize it. But again, this is the sock blank of that colorway, which will give a very different final product. But of course, Gail does this very fun thing where she stencils on top of her color transitions. So not only are you going to get the speckly, again, pixelated almost color change, but you're also going to have more colors in there because of the stenciling technique. Isn't that fun? My kid also can just eat whatever she wants while I'm podcasting because she just holds it up to me and I nod, which she's going to eat butterscotch chips right now. I'm just going to tell you. She's eating butterscotch chips. Because it's easier than being like, eat something else. There's an apple. Just whatever, eat butterscotch chips. Let's do it. Okay, so the Nadine color, I also purchased these. And these are little batlings, and they're 2 ounces. And there are lots of merino too, but the bat is easier to pull off with merino for me. But hi, it's this color. How could I not buy it? Oh, I wonder why I like this color so much. Vain much? Maybe a little bit. Narcissistic color love. Oh, I can't name this episode that because I'm still recording last week. This is now. Narcissistic color love is a good color. Is a good name though. It does kind of make me want to just dye yarn just so I can make colorway names up. You know what I mean? Of course you don't, because that's crazy. I'm writing it down just in case. Here's my ball peen hammer. If you were at SSK and you saw me with this, it's not because I was like in self-defense mode or anything. I had some weird ignition issues where I had to tap my ignition sometimes. Actually, I ended up not having to do it because I think I fixed it. Yes. Because I watched a YouTube video and it told me to hit my ignition with this thing and it would fix it. And my husband was like, I think it's a bad idea. And I was like, yeah, it's probably a bad idea. And then I went and did it. And I think it worked. But I don't need that in there anymore. I was not carrying that around the whole time. This bag stayed in my room. And then, let's see. Oh, Cyborg's Craft Room. I didn't have anything from her. And every time I see anything of that she's dyed, it looks gorgeous knit up. So this is her Sparklate base, which is like the merino stellina nylon. This is the Stellar colorway. I may have had some space love this week, but I thought this would be so fun for Mamaw socks. Because I don't think I've made her. I don't think she has any glittery socks. And I think that will make her heart very happy. So anyway, so there's that. And of course, she was lovely. All these people that I met were lovely. If I don't say they weren't lovely, it's not because they weren't lovely. Wait, if I don't say that they were lovely, it's not because they weren't lovely. It's just because I forgot to say that. They were all lovely. And so then Jinx yarn, I also don't have anything from Jinx. And this is gorgeous knit up. She had a sample of it. This is her strong, I got the sport weight because, hi, that's fun. It's sport weight. It's totally, I don't have that much of that, okay. This is her strong sport self-striping and the abandoned carnival colorway. A, that's a great name. B, this is gorgeous. She had a sample of it knit up. It's totally my colors, and it's a very soft stripe. It's like the break is softer. It has more of a transition than like just a line. Anyway, it was gorgeous. And then of course Stacy from Mustache was there, and if I don't buy from something from her there, I'm never going to get it again, right? But I was very good. I bought one. This is her Nutcracker Sweet colorway. I think I just made that up. Nutcracker Candy. It's a 5-stripe. So she does like some crazy ones, right? She does like the 22, the 38. I don't know. She may do like an infinity stripe. I'm not even sure what she does. She might be a witch. I'm just saying. She's really not. I don't know. Maybe she is, but I don't care. Either way, she makes beautiful yarn. And she's very nice. And her family is lovely. She had so much yarn. It was intense. And of course, as a vendor, I do the pre-shop so that while we're all setting up right before, like an hour before we open the market, it's nice you get like a dry run. So people, make sure your card reader's working and stuff, but so we can each shop from each other or do trades or whatever. it was, but this one was definitely, again, like another Crafty Girl. I was like, I want everything in here. How can I make just one decision? It was kind of that feeling of like, Highland Handmaids. I didn't even buy anything from her because I just looked at her booth and was just like, I can't decision today. I can't decision that much because there was too much good stuff. I can't decision. There's no decision. I can't decision. I think last time she was at SSK, I actually bought something from her after SSK because I was like, I just couldn't. I get very overwhelmed. I didn't buy anything from Miss Babs. Again, I was like, I can't even think about what to do with this. So I do that with Kimber too at Fiber Optic. So anyway, but this was like, the blue and the teal got me, okay? So I'm like, initially I was drawn to this skein. And then I saw it knit up, and it's in a regular stripe. So the stripes are of different widths, and I was just like, that's it. Yeah, give it to me. Make my decision easier. So, and then we got lots of other great stuff. What's in here? Oh, my tuft is in here. The blueberry lemonade. It smells so good. And their booth was right as you walked in the door, which was kind of close-ish to mine. And it's all day, everything smelled beautiful. It was awesome. And there was lots of good stuff in the goodie bag. So much good stuff. But you've probably already seen it, so I won't show you. Oh, this is the other thing I purchased. From Fringe Supply Company, which I had never looked at their site or anything. But I really fell in love with these scissors. I'm a sucker. I'm just not gonna lie. Like, oh, look, you have an aesthetic that I enjoy. I will buy something from you. Hook, line, sinker, whatever. Sell me a lifestyle that I can't have. Okay. But these are just like little bond. They don't make these scissors. They're just curators of fun things. But I love them so much. I'm like, I'm gonna go get my green beans off my green bean pants with these. Put them on a little thing around my neck. I'm gonna cut lots of threads with these. I just love them. And then I also bought some, I don't even know what we call these anymore, but the double-ended crochet hooks that you can use to zip up when you have when you drop a stitch. Right. And they're like a little set of 3 in varying sizes. Oh, they have, these are the bone ones. They also sell ebony ones, but they didn't have the ebony ones when I got there, but so pretty. Anyway, oh, that's pretty. Let me have it. I didn't get anything from Acreworks because I actually have bobbins on order from them that are coming, but they did do, Beck Gussler made the design, and then they printed buttons for the goodie bags. If anybody wants my lavender buttons and trade, I will trade. I didn't even look at them until I got home. It's so overwhelming. There's so many things to look at. But so isn't that fun? And of course, they were lovely. I didn't meet them. I mean, I didn't like interact with them for any long amount of time, but they were very nice people. Let's see. And the poor Acreworks fellow. Oh, my husband is very tall. He's not quite as tall as that gentleman. But like he gets a lot of like, wow, you're very tall. And he doesn't like get upset about it. But you can tell after a while it's like, yes, I understand that I'm very tall. And I'm sure he had that moment quite a few times this week. The market. Because again, the majority of the people in the market are women, which we just tend to be slightly shorter anyway. And then combine that with the fact that he's a tall fellow. I'm sure it was like... Okay, so it's, I know, right? I'm still not done. Looping. Whoa, what? Oh, there's wool. I'm like, whoa, what was that? Malia gave me some beautiful hand spun. So many colors. She's like, oh, I should reskein it or I should ball it for you because it's not a perfect skein. Malia, your standards are much higher than mine. And it feels so good. Oh, it's gorgeous. 3 plies make me happy. Oh, and the beautiful, my roommate, well, you say roommate, but really like you just share a bathroom, but you have separate rooms, with Steve of Leading in Fiber Arts. And he was so kind. He gave me a beautiful gift, which I should just break it out. This was part of it, was one of his gradient sets. And this is the Smoky Quartz Gradient. And this is 657 yards or 150 grams of 100%, so many words, 100% superwash BFL. So isn't that gorgeous? Then look what he had in the show. He had lots of them. But like, look at these things that need to be together. So I'm going to do something like a daybreak or something. Maybe not a daybreak, but something where I can use these two together. They're so pretty. Very excited about that. And then also from the lovely Yarn Geek Fibers, this super awesome BFL mix, which is in her Curry Up colorway. Steve might know what colors I like. And it's so fluffy and awesome. Her stuff is always beautiful. And then, oh no, I put that in my suitcase. I'll have to show you that. I should show you that by itself anyway, but it was flat, so I put it in my suitcase and not in here so it wouldn't get wrinkled up. But a book, which I will show you next time. And then I just got some more Power Scour from the lovely folks at Ross Farm. And I think all this there. We got sock rulers in our grab bag, in our goodie bag, not grab bag, this is a different thing. And then look from Eileen. I'm saying that right? Yes, Eileen, okay. Eileen gave me these beautiful, this is actually the first thing, like I was like, if there for 3 seconds, I'm getting gifts. What? Eileen gave me these beautiful mittens, and I'm not gonna be able to say it right, because it's like calorie measurement. Calorimetry, which is a free nitty pattern for like a head wrappy thing. Calorimetry, I think is how you say it. But if you look at accessories on Ravelry, it's like, if you look for most popular, it's right up there. But I believe it's like a calorie and metry at the end. So, oh, but the reason she gave them to me is because the colorway was called Apple Orchard. And I might be the official spokesperson, not official, for all of the apple picking. Hi, Apple Pickers Association. Could you not get on the phone to me? I love to talk about apple picking, so could we just make that happen? Anyway, so I don't want to put them on the same time because they're all beautifully sewn together. But look how fun that is! Oh my gosh, so exciting! Oh my gosh! And now SSK is over. I was so like, I mean, I was just working really hard to get everything together for SSK for the business side of things, but like everything else kind of like just went, I mean, I was functioning in my day-to-day life, but like the fibery yarny life was just like, get this stuff done for SSK, get it done for SSK. And I never can, I really, you know what I should do next year if we do it again, if I can get in again, if I can bend again, is I should, I really should get some stuff together for the try it on room like 3 months ahead of time. That's what I really should do. Like in March, I should get my stuff together because it's always last minute and I can never make it all happen. Like I can't get stuff together. So I really need to do that next year. Anyway, so I've been so like, I gotta get all this stuff together for SSK because it's a lot of, that's like a month's worth of work. I mean, it's a month. My last update was a month ago, but it's like a lot of preparation to get all that stuff together. And so I just was so focused on that. And then it was like, yay, we're actually doing the SSK stuff, which is fun. And then as soon as I got home, I was like, when is it fall? Is it fall yet? Is it time for Rhinebeck? What's happening? Try to live in the present, And then I got this awesome gift, which was knit by the super awesome fellow Ginger, DJ Knits a Lot of Knitting in Circles fame. I'm so fancy. This is the only knitwear I've ever owned that was knit by a fellow. Not that matters that much, but it's kind of a novel thing. But so this is so cute because I watched the episode where they were like, I don't know if this is going to go with that person's skin. And I was like, that would go with my skin. I'll be the backup person. So even if I am the backup person, I don't care. It's beautiful. You could have told me I was the backup person. I'd been like, ha, first runner up. I'll take it. So anyway, so this is the Handbrake Cowl, which was written by, I can't remember which one of the Bakery Bears, right? But it was written by one of the Bakery Bears podcast people. I can't remember which one of you wrote it. I'm sorry. I feel like I want to say one of you, but then I'll be wrong. And then, so we'll just say it was written by one of the contributors to the Baker Bears podcast, which they do a great podcast. But it's across the pond. So you get a lot of like, again, it's fun to think there's podcasts and these all over the place. Because again, a lot of the Knitting and Spinning podcast is not just about, again, like the class. You don't just learn what's on the syllabus. So, I mean, it's not just about what, you know, just not just about the knitting. It's also about all the fun periphery stuff. So I believe the vacation and whatnot, I'll tell you about it. Yay, it's so exciting. So that's all the awesomeness. Now, again, I know there's other awesomeness in other places, but this was the most awesomeness that I have together at one time. So I think I'll put this at the end. If I don't, then back to me in the present. But if I do put it at the end, I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll talk next time. Bye.